Hey everyone, it's Kirk McLean here, and you're watching Clay's Canucks Commentary.
Hey Canucks fans, and welcome to Clay's Canucks Commentary Live, presented to you by Van City Experts Real Estate. I'm your host, Clay Emo Canuck Clay, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take for Monday night, January the 6th. If you're new, here's what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. Welcome everyone on a night where the Vancouver Canucks lose to the Montreal Canadiens 5-4 in overtime. Going to break down the game, going to leave a lot of time for your questions and your comments, and talk about a little bit of a fun fact about this, about Montreal and tonight. Well, I think it's fun. We'll see if you guys actually agree with me. But let's start off by thanking the moderators. Do what you need to do to keep this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's Legends, Hall of Fame, and franchise members, thank you for your support as always. And to everyone else, no matter where you're watching from, whether by beautiful neighborhood of Steveston or Richmond, in the city, lower mainland, province, country, continent, or around the world, thank you for being here. You know that I know that you could be watching anyone else, doing anything else, getting ready for work, school, or bed, or all three. But the fact that you're here with me, know how much I always appreciate you and how I never, ever take you for granted as we continue to build what I firmly believe is the best Canucks community here on YouTube. And thanks to everyone who pulled double duty, who joined Parker and me. We had a spirited hour show of Canucks After Dark, where we talked not just about this game, but about you-know-who and you-know-who and other things. It's funny, we talked about Petey and Miller one day after I just spent 10 minutes talking about how I don't like talking about Petey and Miller, but Parker didn't watch that, so it's fine. We talked about them tonight. But so thanks to all of you who played, who indeed did double duty. This is how you get involved tonight. You can subscribe to the channel. Get active in the chat section, get notified by my videos every single day. You can like the video, like the fact that we're together, like the fact that JT Miller had 4 points tonight, like the fact that Jonathan Lekkerimäki had 2 points, like the fact that Kiefer Sherwood had another monster game in terms of hits, and like the fact that we're together building this wonderful Canucks community. You can leave a donation, get the donation train out of the station. You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message, your Triple M. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. So there are already 30 of you watching on YouTube. Thank you. There are already another 20 watching on X, and I'm sure that will grow as we go. So really quickly, just 2 minutes about my day, even 1 minute about my day. I had a good day at work. I spoke at a teacher's retreat at a church called St. Augustine's, and I spoke to them for an hour and on the topic of prayer and witnessing to your faith. Got to talk about my cruise a little bit, got to talk about my family. So it's always a good time sharing, getting on the public speaking circuit, so to speak. And some of those teachers said that they actually watch my show at night. And I said, "Oh, thank you. And I apologize for the time of your life you're never, ever going to get back." And then tonight came home and I did have the double, for those of you that follow me on X or Instagram, I did have the double screens going. I had the Canucks game going on Amazon Prime on my main TV, and I had Raw on Netflix, WWE Raw on the laptop, and I was doing both. So if you want to talk about wrestling, I'll save that to the very end. I'll do 5 minutes of wrestling talk at the end, but let's keep it to hockey talk at least for the first bit. And one last thing, and then we'll get into my impressions of tonight's game. Jacob is actually in Montreal. I think, I'm not sure if I mentioned this in last night's stream, but Jacob is in Montreal right now, and he is trying out for Team Canada once again. You guys know that he's made the youth bowling team for the past 3 summers. That's why 3 years ago, we were in Sweden. That's when they lost his bowling balls. Last year, we were in Peru. That was when I was just before I ruptured my Achilles. And then, 3 years ago in Sweden, 2 years ago in Peru. Last year, we were in Seoul, South Korea. And those were all as the junior team. Now he's 21 years old. So he has to compete with all the men. In the past 3 years, he's come in 18th overall, not just youth, 18th in men, 14th, and then 7th. So last year he was knocking on the door. So we will see how he does. We'll see how he does. And yeah, I'm excited to see how he does. So it's funny, it's ironic or appropriate or whatever you want to say. He was in Montreal tonight, and I told him he should have tried to get a ticket to the Vancouver Montreal hockey game. Although Jake wanted to rest because he flew red eye. So a couple of his fellow bowlers went to the game, which is cool. But Jacob was in Montreal for tonight, even though he wasn't able to go to the game. So thank you, everyone, saying good luck, Jake. Good luck, Jake. Jacob is the man. I agree with all you guys. Yes, Knucklebuck, I am speaking a lot tonight. I spoke this morning. I had Canucks After Dark, and I have this show tonight. But thankfully, my voice is holding up, and I'm pretty much over my cold. There's still a couple of remnants, but we're getting there. We're getting there. And Shannon, I'm sorry to hear that you're sick. I've been home sick today. Going to talk to my doctor on Thursday, as I have a great friend up in Shawnigan. She said that some of the symptoms I have might be my cancer. Shucks. Well, Shannon, we'll keep you in our thoughts and prayers, and please keep me in the loop for sure. And Erwin, yes, we'll see. If no one wants to talk about it, it's fine. But yeah, no problem. Leave. Leave before I talk about it, and hopefully no one says anything in the comments, but I can't stop them if they do. Knuckleback said, "Let's go, Jacob." Brian says, "Good luck, Jacob." Shannon says, "Good luck, Jacob." A lot of good well wishes for him. Thank you. He starts bowling at 8:00 Montreal time tomorrow, which is 5:00 in the morning. So I don't think I'll get up at 5, even because I don't know if he'll be on the live stream pair, because they are streaming everything on YouTube. But I'll wake up and hopefully see that he is doing very, very well. All right. Oh, RSA, don't worry, man. I don't see every single comment, but I'm glad actually you brought it up. I met Frankie Laval like 5 times. Awesome. Team Canada has Mitch Hoope. Yeah. So what's really interesting is last year, this last thing, and then we'll actually get into hockey, I promise. Last year for the team trials, there were 4 professional bowlers, the best 4 in Canada, that were actually not at the team trials because they were actually at a PBA event. This year, there is no PBA event. So those 4 bowlers are actually in Montreal for the team trials. So technically, you could argue all 4 are obviously better than Jacob. Technically, you could argue that Jake's 7th place finish last year was a bit inflated because there are 4 pros missing. But if you tell me that Jake's one of the top 12 bowlers in the country of all men, including pro bowlers, I will take that. It was actually Hoope, Lavoie, Gramfa, and one of Zach Wilkins or someone else. I can't remember. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about today's game. Yeah, no, I won't do a watch along party stream for Jake because Coach Rob, he might not even be in the, on YouTube. So then we'd be just watching guys that I don't really care about. And yes, Erwin, 8 a.m. is early, but they're like 70 men, 40 women, and they got to pare down 6 games each. They play 6 games on Tuesday, 6 games on Wednesday, and then another 6 on Wednesday night because they got to keep basically whittling down to. So I'll certainly update you guys on these streams as to how he's doing. Okay, let's quickly talk about tonight's game. And you guys know that I love to use the Edge goal visualizer to do this. I didn't do a goal breakdown, because I only do them when they win. And so I was ready to do one, but of course the Canucks did not win. So the first goal of the game is pretty quick. And it's some kind of weak play in the Canucks zone. And I just talked right through it. I didn't even tell you what was happening. So the Canadiens bringing in I think Sherwood could have made it. No, it's fine. Bluger right here. Bluger's got to make a better play on Slavkovsky here. And then they kind of lose Caulfield in the middle here. Could Sherwood take him here? Could Desharnais step up? Someone's got to do something. But right there, the puck gets to him. Yeah, maybe Sherwood, man. So maybe Desharnais's got to be the one to step up, knowing that Forbert has this guy, but he doesn't. And then Caulfield scores just 1 minute into the game. Basically, 1 minute 7. Canucks get it back on JT Miller's first of his 2 goals. And this is a good play by Hoglander. Rags the puck around. Then Petey, as they pointed out, not Petey, Hughes comes down and kind of causes a bit of a distraction that allows Hoglander. See, now two guys are focused on Hughes. Hoglander is able to get it to the middle. JT Miller's wide open and he one-times it. They called it an angry goal. So JT Miller scores an angry goal, shows no emotion, and now it's 1-1. Then JT Miller scores again to start the second period off. And this is the puck getting into the zone. There's Myers. Then he shoots it in. And it takes a weird, I'll show you that again. It takes a weird, I haven't seen what happened. Did it hit a stanchion or hit a ref? But it takes a weird bounce out. Lekkerimäki goes to the net, fans on it. And then Montembeault's kind of like, what the heck? And then Miller kind of pokes it over Montembeault. Now it's 2-1. And what's really nice is just 20 seconds later, this beautiful goal by Lekkerimäki. So Desharnais, then Miller, beautiful pass to Besser at the blue line, who then a nice feed. And now it's a 2-on-1. Lekkerimäki, I wouldn't pass to Myers either. And a quick snapshot or wrist shot past Montembeault. 3-1, 3 minutes in. And we're laughing. We're thinking, okay, the Canucks have this in the bag. But of course, this is the Canucks. They're not so great at protecting leads. Then it's Caden Gooley, who was hitting everyone, including Lekkerimäki, to start off the game. The puck goes to him at the point, and he just gets it through. And I find that a lot of teams score on the Canucks this way when they layer 4 or 5 guys in front of Lankinen. And I mentioned this to Canucks at Dart. Lankinen's not that big, so he sometimes has trouble seeing through some pass guys. So right here, I think you need Suter to close this gap sooner. And then you have Juleson and Soucy fighting with 2 Montreal Canadiens guys. So by the time Gooley shoots it, look, Lankinen's got 4 guys to look past, and it goes right past him. So now it's 3-2. Third period, Kirby Dach scores on a power play. This one was interesting. It goes off of Myers, actually. So there's a shot that gets to Lankinen. Then right there, then Dach kind of tries to turn around and scoop it in. But it actually goes off of Myers' stick past Kevin Lankinen. So now it's 3-3. But sadly, that's not the only goal that goes off of a Canucks defenseman's stick, because Lane Hudson, who's having an incredible year, he brings this puck in and he banks it off of Quinn Hughes' skate right here. So here comes Hudson, goes down, centers it, and goes off of Hughes' skate. That could have been the backbreaker, but then just 2 minutes later, DeBrusk scores on the power play. Really, really nice feed. It goes Hughes, walks the line, over to Miller on the left wing. Miller sells like he's going to shoot, then passes it, and then DeBrusk whips it home 4-4. Then we know that Niels Hoglander takes that penalty when he doesn't have a stick. And then in overtime, surprise, surprise, it only takes a minute for Montreal to score on the power play. There's Hudson once again. Right there, drops it back to Suzuki, and Suzuki fires a shot past Kevin Lankinen. I think Hudson will be a finalist for Calder. I'm not sure if he's going to win it, but Hudson, Michkov, and Celebrini should be the 3 Calder. So L. Smith, I would say it's between those 3 for sure. Clay for Prime Minister, only if you're my running mate, Russell, but thank you. Hey, Tristan, nice to see you, by the way. I sent you an email. Hopefully you can respond to that as well. So let's look at some stats from tonight's game. Montreal outshoots us 24-20. They outface off us 49-41, and they have better special teams. 2 for 4, where we're only 1 for 3. So those 3 stats show that they at least seem like they controlled the play, which I think is the case. Even though the Canucks were winning 3-1, I actually still think Montreal controlled the play, but Lankinen played very well. Canucks, again, out-hit their opponent, and they have more block shots. Go into the actual box score, and then we see a lot of pluses. Like Miller was a +3, Besser was a +2. Miller has the 4 points, 2 goals and 2 assists. Lekkerimäki has 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist. But then you have some guys that are minuses. So you got a -2 for Phil DiGiuseppe, a -2 for Connor Garland, a bunch of -1s as well. You look at the ice time. Low man was Phil DiGiuseppe, 10:33. And we had an interesting discussion on Canucks After Dark. If Pettersson is ready for the game on Wednesday against Washington, who comes out? Is it Hoglander? Is it Lekkerimäki? I say it should be PDG. He only had 10.5 minutes tonight. Shots on goal, you had Miller with 3, Lekkerimäki with 3, a bunch of guys with 2. Then it comes to blocks, whatever, for a forward, 2 for Miller, which shows that he was engaged. and 6 hits. So Miller did have a really good game, actually. 4 points, plus 3, 3 shots, 2 blocks, and 6 hits. He basically did everything you need him to do except win faceoffs. He went 25% in the faceoff circle. 6 hits, and then another 10 hits for Kiefer Sherwood. Pretty darn impressive. Not impressive, 4 giveaways from Max Sasson. Then on D, you had Hughes with a 2, but he was only an even. Myers was 1 assist plus 2. Hughes had the most minutes, Myers second most. And then you look at other things like the other stats in terms of shots. Juleson had 2, led all defensemen. Blocks, Hughes and Juleson each had 3, and then hits, Juleson and Myers. So Juleson wasn't bad on the stat line when it comes to 2 shots, 3 blocks, and 3 hits. And then Kevin Lankinen, not his best outing. He allows 5 goals on 19 shots. 24 shots. I would say a couple of them weren't his fault, but you would love him a better effort, or you love him to make a save in overtime. You'd like him to make a save on that long shot, even though it was through a bunch of people. And then maybe not a great chance on some of the other goals. You look at the standings now, and basically you got to see that things are tightening up in the Western Conference. I explained this on my stream last night that I think the top 7 teams are kind of, including Dallas, are kind of separating themselves. And then now, equal number of games, Vancouver, Calgary, and Utah, 39. You got 45, 43, and 41. So there are 4 points separating 3 teams. You add in St. Louis, who have played 2 more games, though. And those are really the 4 teams that are in the mix. I wouldn't necessarily count St. Louis in there, but then I'd certainly count Vancouver, Calgary, and Utah as the 3 teams chasing that final wild card spot. Okay, so that's where we are a little bit with what happened in tonight's game and where the Canucks stand in the standings. What I'll do now is I'll do my mid-show sponsor read, and then I'll leave a lot of time to answer your questions. All right? Okay, so let's do that. So when I start off my mid-show sponsor read, I always start by honoring and recognizing Jason Lim of Van City Experts. Thank you to my channel sponsor, Jason Lim of Van City Experts Real Estate. At Van City Experts, their experience, knowledge, and expertise can serve you well in navigating through the real estate market and will help you to choose the best home or condo in the greater Vancouver area that best suits your and your family's needs. Also, shout out to my secondary sponsor, Coach Patrick Lou, weight loss coach. Check him out at coachpatricklou.com/clay and sign up for a free 5-day workout. Thank you to Gassy Jack Art, maker of that fine artwork. And thank you to Vessi Footwear. Use the link tinyurl.com/VessiClay and receive a free pair of socks at your next purchase of Vessi shoes. Thanks to everyone who's purchased Canuck Clay merch that I am rocking tonight. Here's my GLCPC shirt. So if you want to support me, you can do so at canuckclay.threadless.com. As well, a reminder that you can get involved tonight by subscribing to the channel, by liking the video, by leaving a donation. Will you be the one who gets the donation train out of the station? You can gift a membership. You can buy your own membership, upgrade your own membership, use your monthly membership message. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, make sure you rate and review. A couple other reminders. My shows this week are tomorrow night at 11 p.m., Wednesday night at 11 p.m., which will be a post-game. And then Thursday, members live stream at 11. And then don't forget, Friday night, I'm actually making my return to Game Over as a guest, not a host, but I'll be joining Mark on Game Over on Friday night after the Carolina Hurricanes and Vancouver Canucks game. And lastly, members live streams this month. I'm doing 3 of them. The first one is this Thursday. The next one is next Wednesday. And then a few Thursdays from now as well. All right, friends, let's go to hockey questions only. We'll save the wrestling talk until the end. So Brian, I will have you, we'll talk about it at the very end for sure. And then I'll make sure that I give Erwin enough time to get out of the stream before I wreck it for him. All right, so questions. If you had a choice of Fox or Makar for the Canucks, who would you rather have? I take Cale Makar, but Adam Fox is very good as well. I think Makar, Fox, and Hughes are all very good. Obviously, 3 former Norris Trophy winners, but I take Cale Makar. I've seen a tiny bit more of him, admittedly. Yep, they're still doing Game Over. They relaunched as a new company, not under the SDPN brand. They're doing their best to grow, and I will be joining them on Friday. Tristan coming back as a franchise member. So let's give some love to Tristan in the chat right here, right now. So big shout out to Tristan Talio coming back to membership status as a franchise member. So great to have you back. Let's give some love to Tristan. Also gets the donation train out of the station. Great to have you back. Hey, Justin, Clay, last season, part of our success was attributed to the lifeline of Bluger, Joshua, and Garland. Sherwood's been good, but with Joshua injury and bad fortune this year, why don't we have a lifeline? I think Sherwood started off really well. I think he's been mostly good. I think Joshua obviously had a slow start to his year. Garland has been up and down. So you're right. We don't, at the start of the year, wasn't there a line with Bluger, Heinen, and Sherwood that were pretty good? But yeah, they didn't obviously replicate the success of last year's lifeline. So I don't know. Maybe by the end of the season, when everyone's healthy, they do reunite either Bluger or Suter with Joshua and Garland, and maybe they're doing well, but we'll have to see because Joshua's hurt for the time being for sure. Shannon says, how come you're not as loud as you are most nights? I'm not sure if that's the case. I just tested it right now. I sound about the same. My mic level is about the same. I know last night I had it super loud. I think it was Swerve and Irvin who said that it was actually too loud. So I knocked it back 2 notches, but it's about the same as usual, but hopefully you can still hear me. But if other people are saying that, let me know if other people are saying that I'm too quiet, but let me know. Thank you, Shannon. And if it's not, maybe it's the settings in your computer, or maybe it's because you aren't feeling well, or maybe I am speaking quieter, or my mic's not on. Do you think Hoglander will be traded soon, especially after today's game? Sarah, I don't think he'll be traded just because of that penalty. He actually has been playing better the past few games. So I don't think that this game is going to point him closer to a trade, to be honest with you. Yeah, it was just unfortunate that he made that mistake. Myers was flying out there and making some nice tape-to-tape passes. I thought he had a good game, and he's a +3 tonight for sure. I do not think there's going to be a big trade soon, truly. We'd love to see the Habs in the playoffs. Well, they're battling for that spot right now. Game Over was a show that we started 2 years ago under the Steve Dangle Podcast Network, and each Canadian city had a show, a post-game show that went for 45 minutes or so. They had 3 or 4 different hosts per market, and we would bring in whatever guests we could find, some big names, some not so big names. And then we did a season and a half, and then we basically got turfed from the Steve Dangle Podcast Network. So we didn't finish last year off. And then those 7 cities are making a go of it this season under a new kind of structure, independently, and ownership in the company, that kind of thing. I opted out of it because I wanted to concentrate on this, because I was one of the Game Over Vancouver hosts for 2 years, but I opted out of it because I wanted to focus on other things, including this channel. So after every Canucks game, there is a show called Game Over Vancouver. If you're looking for yet another show, I know Russell has his live streams. I know there's Locked On Canucks sometimes. I know there's Rink Wide. I know Trev does his post games usually a little bit later, but there's a lot of options out there. What if JT Miller goes to his home state and wins a cup this season? Is his home state Ohio? Is that where he was born? He's not going to win a cup in Ohio. Is that what you mean? Is that what you're trying to get me to say, RSA, that Columbus is going to win the cup? No problem, Erwin. You'll enjoy it, but I'll talk about it in a sec. Burned, it's funny. I'm not sure you've been a part of my streams the last few days. I lamented that there's too much talk about this. But is there a Miller PD problem? I think there's something there, but I don't think either one's going to get traded. Hey, Tristan, I see your message. I'll get to it in a couple of minutes when I get there, and I'm very sorry to read that. If Hogs goes, I'm cool with it because JT and Peter are needed. I prefer JT to go back. No problem if he stays. Okay, no problem. I also hate it when we have a 2-goal lead. Who is the player that had beef with Horvat? Was that Miller too? That was rumored, never ever confirmed. What do you think they should do with, in your opinion? In your opinion, what do you think they should do with those two players? Oh, I presume you're talking about PD and Miller. I said this on Canucks After Dark. I'll say it here. I don't think they should trade either, because I don't think you're going to get full value. So I think the Canucks should keep their asking price high, explore options. That's what they should always do. But my gut feeling is both those guys are still in a Vancouver uniform by the trade deadline. Yes. There's a message that got retracted, so I don't want to read it. I probably did already. Oh, no, it's right there. JT caused Bo and then PD to leave. Are you saying that for sure, Fillmore, or is that your opinion? I thought Quinn looked great today. We saw the contraption he had on his hand, but I thought he looked great. He played great. Do you think having tall defensemen behind Hughes and Roenick is the Canucks' culprit to losing? Screening Lankin or Demko by our tall defense is brutal and seems to happen often. No, I don't think it's because they're tall. I think it's because they're not great defensemen. Because we saw how effective having a big defense core could be. Last year it was Zadorov, Cole, Soucy, and Myers, and they were great. They were great in the playoffs. They were great overall. So it's not, but we lost Cole and Zadorov and replaced them with Forbert and Desharnais. So and Myers, Soucy has been off this year. So I don't think it has anything to do with their height. It has everything to do with how well they play. Oh, and RSA is saying game over is how he found Kaya and Clay. Well, I'm glad you did, RSA. No, they weren't right. Fillmore, you're I love your bold statements, Fillmore. I especially love them when they are supporting or affirming me. No, I think I like all the people in Game Over. I do think that of the event. Well, no, Kai is good. Kai is good, and she's growing her audience. Sam didn't do a lot of shows, but she certainly appealed to a certain audience as well. I think I had the most mainstream appeal. That's such a weird way of saying it, and that's not to discredit Sam and Kaya because they're great, but I do think that with Sam and me leaving this year, it's Kaya and it's a couple of new guys, Mark, who's great, and then I can't remember the other guy's name. And it's hard, right? Because it's not just because of the people that left, i.e. Sam and me, but it's also they're harder to find now. Each show has its own channel as opposed to one Game Over channel. So it's hard to start off. It really is. And I wish them nothing but success. And that's why I want to support them in a small way by being on their show on Friday. Hey, hoy, hoy. I think EP and Miller should figure it out together. I agree. They're too similar in personality and they haven't been great. Yeah, I don't know if they're similar in personality. Maybe they're both kind of brooding. That's how they're similar. But I wouldn't say that they're completely similar. But I do agree with you that I think they should work it out together somehow. Why does Hoglander always take bad penalties, especially at the worst times in your own zone? Yeah, that's frustrating. It's not only concerning to see his offensive game drop off majorly, but his hockey IQ. I think he's just trying really hard, and yeah, he doesn't make the best decisions. I agree with that, Justin. It is frustrating, isn't it? Was signing Miller over Horvat a mistake? I wouldn't say so. I would have made the same choice. Fillmore, you should become my life coach or something. Game over, hogging Clay's time. Absolutely not. I have not. I've not done a show with them this year, and I chose to do a show on Friday, so it doesn't take away from this show. So again, thank you, Fillmore, for your support. But I'm a big boy; I can handle it, and I want to support them. I have a feeling you won't be watching it, but which is fine. Amazon Prime sucks for people who can't afford Sportsnet. I thought Bo and Miller wasn't really beef, but more a result of contract discussions. Yeah, Horvat has spoken about how he feels that he was betrayed by Canucks management. I want to recognize Tristan's donation and give him love for the donation part. But I'm very sorry to hear that you and your girlfriend lost the baby. And yeah, I know, Tristan, you'll see an email from me when you get around to checking it. I was just checking in to see how you're doing, and now I know why that I hadn't heard from you for a couple of weeks, especially that's tough news around Christmas time. So I give you all my love, man, and I'm sorry. Hopefully, you'll be other opportunities in the future, and I'm very sorry to hear that. Yet I appreciate you taking the time to purchase membership and to give a donation tonight. But as always, do what makes sense and make sure you keep your priorities, keep the main thing. And if that involves me, great. If that doesn't, that's just as fine as well. You have more important things to talk about it. Okay. But thank you, Tristan. Reach out to me anytime. Okay, I am 6 or 7 minutes behind, so I'm gonna have to skip to questions or things that really catch my eye that I think I need to address. If the playoffs started today, how many teams, Canadian teams, would make it in? Well, I'm gonna start off by qualifying my answer, because if you go by points, in the East, you have Toronto and Montreal. Actually, no, Montreal makes it by points. But if you go by points percentage, Ottawa makes it. So no matter what, you have Toronto and one other team, Montreal, Ottawa, make it. And in the West, you do have Winnipeg, Edmonton, and Vancouver making it. So Calgary is the only Canadian team that doesn't make it as of today. And then one of Ottawa or Montreal, depending on if you go points or points percentage. Oh, JT Miller is Ohio, but he's Pittsburgh. Gotcha. East Palestine, Ohio is his hometown. If we go to the playoffs, we'll go further than Toronto. I hope so. Good. I see a lot of prayers and sympathy messages for Tristan, which is awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that, community. Best moves are the ones you don't make. Interesting. Trade or sign Besser? I would trade him. I wouldn't sign him. As much as I like him, I think that's money and a spot you could move on from. Provorov and a CBJ round trip for Hoglander and JT. I would not do that. Provorov is okay, but I don't do that trade. Okay, good. People are messaging Tristan, which is great. Hey, Harry, I love that lemon tea you're having. Yes, this VLT is very good. Do you think JT Miller's momentum is back on scoring goals for the Canucks? It's tough to say. It's only one game, but it's great. He looked good. He looked engaged. And not just the points, right? The hits, the shots, the blocks, everything. It was a great game by JT Miller. Cooler heads prevail. Trade Patterson Miller. Don't do that. Don't do that. I like that. Was that a My Show thing or was that a Canucks? No, that was Canucks After Dark thing for sure. Game Over fired the best game over worker they have in ever. Well, who's that, Tristan? Who's the best game over worker? Hey, SGA. Cooler heads do prevail. Schneider Luongo. Old hat for me. That's fair. Yeah, there's every market has their own channel now, RSA. You guys, I appreciate the loyalty, but let's not discredit the other Game Over hosts who work very hard as well. Clay, let's bring back the Don't Do That segment. Okay, I'll do that. Maybe not tonight, but I'll keep that in mind for sure. Watching the Canucks in OT as Canucks fans, don't do that. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I could bring Sam on. We are still friends. We are good speaking terms. Like we're great. So I would happily bring her on. Thank you, Hoy Hoy. I do care about what I do, but I never, it's not my shtick. My outlook is positive, but I have no problem with people expressing themselves as long as it's done respectfully. And I always say, I don't say it every show, but people know that I don't stand for sexist, homophobic, racist, ableist, mean, swearing comments, but you can certainly express your opinion here. I want it to be a safe place to do that as well. Oh, that's nice. It hurts when I miss an episode of the show. Fillmore, you know how much I appreciate you and I appreciate your loyalty. I do. I appreciate how you're not afraid to say how you feel, even if it it might rub a couple people the wrong way, which is fine. Everyone's allowed to express their opinion, like I said, as long as it's not disrespectful. Give PD a PS5 Pro, but no disk drive. Don't do that. Okay. Yes. Sounds like a couple people want to get Sam on here, which is great. Do you think Peter? I think you mean Petey will be ready to return. My guess is yes. My guess is yes. Jets this year is Canucks last year with all those wins. Yeah, and they dipped a bit, but they were able to bounce back again. Yeah. You want Petey and Miller to battle on Mario Kart? 08, 09. Yeah, that's a bit of a pull, but yeah, I can see what you're saying. Knuckleback member, Hall of Fame member for the last 2 months. Referring to Amazon Prime, it just doesn't feel right without Shorty commentating. Yeah, I agree, but I thought the Prime, I was very impressed. I talked about this on Canucks After Dark. I was impressed with the Prime broadcast today, except for that one spelling mistake that I tweeted out on X. But thank you. Let's give some love to Knuckleback for being a CCC member for the past 2 months. Yeah, I saw this comment, Zhao, in Canucks After Dark. We don't do a good job of getting to everyone's questions in Canucks After Dark just because you put two guys who like to talk together. And I actually let Parker run with it mostly because I'm happy to do so, knowing that I have my own show. But yes, I saw this comment earlier. The current management raked Boudreau over the coals for blowing leads, yet they're doing the same thing now. They are indeed. They are indeed. Yes, Tristan, be there for her as much as you can, for sure. Hey, Roberto, nice to see you. Did having to watch Canucks on Prime feel like Canucks TV pay-per-view? Yeah, a little bit. Not first world or exclusive, but yeah, not as easy, for sure. For sure. Yeah, Nation, I was trying to watch both at the same time, so I actually missed the Hogan appearance. Sorry, Erwin. So we spoiled one thing for you. Sorry, Erwin. But yeah, I'll go back and watch that for sure. No, I'm not a fortune teller, Simon. I just think the Americans they're really hot in the hockey world right now. Oh, that's beautiful, Tristan. It was going to be Mackenzie if a girl or Hunter if it was a boy. And Rome's giving great advice. Stay strong for the baby's mother, but make sure that you have the support that you need as well. I know lots of Target supporters here, but lots of folks on X want him gone with this post-game interview. I saw that, Filmer. I saw that people don't think that he's holding himself or accountable or preparing the team as well as he could. Washington, I think the Canucks will lose. I predicted the Canucks would beat Carolina, would lose to Washington and Toronto, but one of those two losses will be an extra time loss. I think Toronto's going to be the extra time. No, actually, I think they're going to lose to Toronto outright. I don't want them to. I just think they will. So I think the Canucks will lose 4-3 tomorrow night in extra time, sadly. And I think Petey will score in his return to the lineup. Hey, Trev, hope you're doing well. Hope you had a good show tonight. What's worse, SDPN kicking Clay out or Vancouver's overtime this season? Also, please invite Kaya. Yeah, Kaya is great. I think both Sam and Kaya would be one. I'll do it separately, but they would both be wonderful guests on the show. And SDPN didn't kick just me out. They decided that all 7 shows were not contributing to their bottom line, and they have every right to do that. Just didn't like how they did it mid-season, but I hold no bitterness towards Adam, Jesse, and Steve for sure. But thank you for your support. Surprised to hear you say trade Besser. I say that, James, because I don't think it's going to be worth signing him long term. He's going to want at least $8 million for at least 5 or 6 years, if not more. And I just don't think that's the best use of money. I think Lekkerimäki can fill that spot, maybe not right away, but eventually. And if you are going to let him walk, of course, it depends on what you can get for him, which is kind of what your question. Or maybe he's just one of those casualties that you let walk at the end of the season, which isn't the best asset management, but you never know where the Canucks are going to be in terms of playoff spots by the trade deadline. So having said that, I don't think you get a first for him. I think you get like a second or a third and maybe another lower asset for him. So obviously that doesn't sound like that much. And maybe you're better off just letting him walk. Tough to say. Samantha Chang, she was part of Yahoo. She was part of the broadcast, quite popular and polarizing. Very strong views, lawyer, so very smart. I will never win an argument with her. Yeah, Tristan, I would never tell you what to do. I just think, given your age, given my life experience, there's no rush. Uh, Being a parent is a huge responsibility, and you got to make sure that both you and the mother are ready for that responsibility. I'm not saying that you are. I'm not saying that you aren't. I'm just saying that as a high school graduate this year, like I think honestly, you are my daughter Kayla's age, and I know she wouldn't be ready to have to bring a life into this world. So that's just my. I kind of went all fatherly mode on you for a bit, but I know, Tristan, that you trust me, and I would say this to you privately. I'm saying it to you publicly because you're putting it out in the public sphere. I don't think there's a rush, but just my 2 cents for you. If PD returns, Harry, I would pull out Phil Di Giuseppe as opposed to Lekkerimäki, especially after a 2-point performance. I hope PD has a good game on Wednesday. Me too, but he doesn't play well versus good teams. Yeah, not recently. I don't disagree, for sure. Nobody here is a fortune teller. I agree. Does a small slump help in negotiations? Yeah, I don't think that's on top of mind right now for Canucks management. They just want to get through this next little bit of the season. But yeah, it's come down a little bit. I'd say the asking price has come down a little bit recently for sure. Okay, you guys, it is 11:57. I wanted to finish off by 12, but I wanted to do 2 or 3 minutes of wrestling talk. So Erwin, and anyone else who doesn't either care about wrestling talk, or it's only gonna be 2 or 3 minutes, I promise, because I want to get off in the next 2 or 3 minutes, or 3 or 4 minutes. So anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled by Raw tonight, or don't care about wrestling talk, I'm giving you permission to leave the stream now. That's mostly for you, Erwin. And for me, I think, I'll just talk about wrestling for the last 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll do the end of my show. So, Erwin, go ahead and go do your thing. You don't have to tell me that you're leaving, Erwin. You might have left already, which is fine. And then for anyone who wants to talk wrestling, so I saw 3 people leave, which is fine. And Knuckleback is actually staying just to hear the joke. Okay, so Matthew, hold this. Only 4 matches in the 3-hour show, so there's a lot of pomp and circumstance, big intro, video packages, recaps of feuds, Triple H coming out there, guest appearances by The Rock, by John Cena, by Hulk Hogan, by The Undertaker, just to do that arm lift with Rhea Ripley. Then we had the Bloodline match, we had the women's match, we had Jey Uso, Drew McIntyre, and then we had Punk Rollins. I thought the matches themselves were good, a little bit slow, but they knew that they had a lot of time. So I thought the pacing of all 4 matches was actually quite slow. Granted, I wasn't listening to all the commentary because I was watching the Canucks game too, but I do think that the ending of the matches were quite good, quite hot, and I thought they're good in terms of storytelling. But yeah, everything felt drawn out. Everything felt like there were no rush to do anything. They knew they had a captive audience. They certainly played up. Like, they were calling this the biggest night in WWE history. And to me, that's a tiny bit of a stretch, given the success of WrestleManias and other premium live events. But if you're talking about potential, this was a game changer tonight. The WWE on Netflix, and where they're going to go from here, the potential. So, really quickly, that's I'll answer like 2 minutes of questions. What match surprised you the most? I was surprised that Jay went over Drew, but I'm not surprised that they had good guys win all the matches. Right? Roman won, Rio won, Jay won, and then both Seth Rollins and CM Punk are good guys. Although you could argue that Punk is more the good guy. So for a first show attracting audience, you probably want the good guys to win. Pretty lame. It's still censored. What did they censor? Because I heard some swearing. What did they censor, Nation? All right. Take care, Erwin. Tonight it was 3 hours. It ended at 8:03. SGA enjoyed it. Hoy hoy like the Undertaker. That's fair. JBL was a great heel. Where's Raw next week? Oh, you're telling SGA to go to Raw. Roberto thought it was a pretty good show. No, it's not a John Cena joke, but that would be a good one. Rollins hitting the GTS on Punk was cool to see. Surprised there wasn't a turn by The Rock. Yeah, no, that's true. There were no turns tonight, which I was surprised by, for sure. For sure. Roman Reigns versus Solo was good. No, Raw is WWE's flagship show. It's been on for almost 30 years now. So it's WWE. If you had to give up one, if I had to give up one, it would be WWE. If I had to. Punk and Rollins was good. I thought the Real Live match was... This is the one, SGA, that I was eating dinner, so I didn't have the sound on. So it looked fine. It looked pretty brutal, actually. Take a shot every time they say, I don't drink. I'm going to get drunk on the first one. No problem, Hoy Hoy. I'm winding up anyways. Yeah, I haven't seen this. I'm going to watch this before I go to bed, but I think he's kind of worn out his welcome for sure. Cena's segment was good, talking about that he started out by saying he's not going to chase that 17th, but then they kind of turned around and said he is going to, especially by entering the Royal Rumble. Oh, crowd wasn't censored, but when The Rock was talking, being gotcha. Game Over is going to be on YouTube. I'll talk about that on my Wednesday night and Thursday night shows. Liv Morgan fought Rhea Ripley since 1993. Yeah, 30 years. Wow. I was 13. Yeah, I was 20. And I'm 50 now, which is ridiculous. And we'll end with this one. Rhea kicking Dom in the nuts is like overtime for Canucks fans. Justin, I can't say it any better. That's amazing. And my friends, with that, 12 o'clock, past 12, I'm going to end it here. Thank you to everyone who joined me tonight. Moderators, thank you for keeping this a safe and respectful place. Members, that's legendary Lucas Gates, legendary Harry Mall, legendary Andrew Chang, Hall of Fame and franchise members. Thanks for your support as well. And thanks to all of you for watching, liking, and subscribing. On your way out, you can like the video, you can subscribe, you can leave a donation if you want to. And thanks to my sponsors, Van City Experts Real Estate, Coach Patrick Lou, weight loss coach. Thanks to everyone who went above and beyond tonight. And that would be Tristan. Welcome back to franchise membership. Tristan, thank you for the donation. I'm so sorry for your loss. And Knuckleback, Hall of Fame member, uses his monthly membership message. So thanks to all of you for going above and beyond. Tomorrow night is my next show at 11 p.m. No Canucks game to talk about, but maybe they practice and maybe we talk about some more things. No bowling tomorrow night. For one more week, we start up again the 14th, but I'll be getting up bright and early to follow Jake's scores while he tries to make Team Canada in Montreal. So thanks, everyone. Yeah, Shannon, keep me posted on your health. To everyone else, including Shannon, thanks to all of you for being here. And don't forget to rate the bad joke on your way out. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. What did the drummer call his two daughters? And this joke is in honor of Tristan, because I had picked this joke out before. So we'll do this joke in honor of Tristan. What did the drummer call his two daughters? Anna 1, Anna 2. God bless, and go Canucks go. Booyah.